Hey,
What's your name? Where you calling from?
hey, Matt. Hey, Jamie. Matt. Brendan.
Did
This
you all
is
hear that?
Dominic from
Oh,
Baton Rouge,
good.
Louisiana.
Perfect. Hey, Dominic, you said?
Yeah, Dominique.
Hey, Dominique, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good. So I called a couple of days ago about this, and this is just kind of, I guess, furthering awareness of this too, because this is in a red sea that this is happening. I was calling to bring more attention to kind of this gumbo of insanity going on in Lafayette, Louisiana, around the police shooting for Trayford Pellerin. And things have kind of a little bit escalated right now, and it just kind of, I think, will bifurcate with both the outside agitator narrative that people do, but also when outside agitator doesn't work, there is always falling back on civility politics. Because on Monday, a couple of community activists and a national activist, Jerry Monroe. Now, I don't know if anyone here is familiar with Jerry Monroe. Probably not. Okay.
No.
He doesn't seem like he's that big a deal, but this will play into something a little bit later. They wanted to meet with the mayor to de-escalate this situation with protesters protesting this police killing for this man. And specifically, they also would like, say, the mayor to give condolences to his family for the shooting, let the family see the body, initiate conversations with the protesters. And the mayor kind of decides to just Leroy Jenkins into this in a dramatic fashion and say he doesn't want to negotiate with terrorists. And this is all internal. They tried to do the outside agitator thing a while ago. News calls them out on it constantly. And so now we're falling on civility politics, which, you know, is probably the height of showing a lack of empathy for the entire situation. Because, you know, hey, a person died. And now we have people that have power that are being asked to use their power to hold someone accountable. And they're saying, you know, my feelings are hurt by what you're telling me to do, so I'm not going to do that. And it's like, you're in charge. You serve us, the people. You are not there for us to give you gratitude for doing this job. You do the job. You do not do the job. People don't like you. That right? That should be the agreement. So we get to the city council meetings that happened in Lafayette on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, there was a barbecue that was held outside. This was in protest to the mayor calling police to a barbecue protest outside his house on Saturday. So
right.
We got this nice little thing going on with barbecues. A right-wing militia actually comes in to help ensure the barbecue goes on because they didn't like the fact that the mayor called the police on a person just barbecuing outside his house. So this is kind of where it's getting weird. But in the comments for the public to give during the city council meeting, there's this figure, Jerry Monroe. He apparently acts as a representative for the NFAC, the Not Fucking Around Coalition. He has a YouTube channel with like 5 videos on it. So this is why, like, and this guy just doesn't seem like he means much of anything. But his clip goes semi-viral because he's saying he's going to bring the NFAC to Lafayette. Well, local Congress critter, Clay Higgins, goes and makes a very ill-advised Facebook post with tagging a picture of a
right. I've heard of this part of it. Right. I've heard about this part of it. Right. Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. So he goes on a rant where he basically says, you know what? If you come in armed and aggressive, which honestly is a dog whistle for, if you come in black, if you come in,
right.
I'm going to take down 10 of you myself because I'm an internet tough guy, and I'm going to drop it in 1450 FPS because apparently he kills people in HD.
Right.
So,
talk about LARPers.
Exactly. Facebook takes this post down, of course, because it actually meets the requirements for inciting violence. So Clay gets kind of a little bit pissy and makes another follow-up Facebook post in which he collectively welcomes all Americans to the front lines in the war for liberty. And then, to top it all off, puts a picture of a swooping eagle with it, too. You know, just to get that chef's kiss of America.
Right. And I remember when I heard this story, I think it was just like yesterday it happened or the day before that. And
well,
I looked
the
into
post Clay did was Tuesday. And yesterday, it hit the news yesterday.
Right. So I looked into Higgins, and this guy is. It's funny he'd be someone to be so bothered about armed protesters showing up, because there's a number of images of this guy over the years at like the honored guest at a Oath Keepers rally or other militia groups rally.
Oh no, he's a 3%er, Oath Keepers. This was the guy that 4 years ago did the video in the Auschwitz crematorium.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So I wonder, like you mentioned, I wonder what was different about this one. I wonder what was different about this one. I don't know if I could put my finger on it. I can't figure this out, Dominique. Why would he have a problem with this protest but not the others?
Apparently, it makes him very threatened.
Right. Yeah. I wonder what it is. Maybe one day it'll hit me, but
maybe.
It is amazing how. I mean, just look at their reaction to Kyle Rittenhouse, and then look at their reaction to the Patriot Prayer guy getting shot in Portland. The right has no problem with being hypocrites. It's not even that they don't realize they're saying one thing and then saying the complete opposite the next day. It's that they don't care. They're openly, their worldview is openly, when our guys do it, it is right. And when their guys do it, it is wrong. It's just period. That's it. I mean, Kyle Rittenhouse was exercising his Second Amendment rights and his right to self-defense. Yet the Patriot Prayer guy was a martyr for the cause who, even though he was spraying mace and was hanging out with guys shooting paintball guns at people in Portland, they were just innocent bystanders in a situation gone awry. I mean, they were hunted for their beliefs, I think, actually, is what the right actually believes. They were hunted for being Trump supporters. This is what the right is. And, personally, this is my belief. I think whether you're a gun rights person or an anti-gun person, whether you are, with mom's demand or you're the most staunch Second Amendment activist, I do not see how guns at a protest make any sense. There could not be a more chaotic situation for guns to be present for. I mean, they should just not be there. If there's one place there should be no guns other than schools, it should be at a protest.
I mean, I'm deeply I'm deeply ambivalent about this.
Okay, Jamie, you go ahead and you talk first. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. I was just going to say I'm deeply ambivalent about guns in general and the idea of an armed left. But I don't know. I spoke with Faye Eckler of the Socialist Rifle Association, and she made a very convincing case that having an armed left can act as a deterrent, right? She wasn't talking about having an armed left ever being used for like an actual gunfight in the streets, because that is a dangerous idea and we would lose really fucking badly. But hearing stories like this one, or like the guy who got shot in Austin who was open carrying his gun legally, like I wonder if that bears out.
I would just say to anybody individually considering it, one, if you've had any kind of suicidal ideation, do not do it. And also, that would just be my advice personally. And also, take safety and gun, like especially if you don't come from a gun background, take gun safety more seriously than anything you've ever taken in your life. And because I think like just the statistics are that look, I agree about the deterrence. And if I lived in a state, and because of my background, I would feel comfortable having one. But statistically, I would still in the back of my mind understand that there's a chance that I accidentally discharge this is just as great as me actually using it to ward off fascists someday.
Friendly fire problems too. If you
exactly.
are involved, if something actually happens, you could even hit an innocent bystander, and there goes someone's completely innocent bystander. I mean, even someone who's not even someone who lives in the area, not even part of the protest. I mean, they're all innocent if they're not doing anything. You know what I mean?
Sorry, we're stepping all over the collar.
I wanted to be my parting thought on this.
Okay. Oh yeah, give us your last. Give us your last.
So last parting thoughts, and I wanted to mention about the gun thing. Right, exactly. Is that it seems to be conservatives like to argue the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun, Kyle Rittenhouse, would be a good guy with a gun. But if there's not a good guy with a gun and it's a good guy with his fists, then you got to support the bad guy with the gun because the gun is actually always good.
Right. That's a good point.
The gun is what's good. So,
right.
Last thing, of course, again, awareness. Trayford Pellerin, just the background on it. A guy was reported being erratic with a knife at a gas station. Police showed up. They followed the dude for a half mile to another gas station. Before he enters it, they shoot him 11 times in the back.
Which one is this? Who is this again?
This was called Trayford Pellerin. It's Lafayette, Louisiana.
All right, I'm gonna look that up.
God,
right, thank you, buddy. This was a great call. Any call that sparks this type of conversation with the group here is always a great call. Feel free to call in all the time, buddy. Take care.
It's just an overwhelming amount of police murders. It's like impossible to even keep track of them.
Right. Listen, I'm not going to tell anyone what to do, but I think, in a perfect world, if you're someone who thinks that you should even be allowed to open carry your gun, a protest, I cannot imagine a worse place for a gun.
Yes, I agree.
There's just so much going on all sides. You have the cops, the protesters, the counter protesters, people who just live in the area or passing by.
Amped up fascists. And
then there's also groups within the protesters and groups within the counter protesters who all have differing opinions of what they should do and how they should do it. It's just couldn't be a worse place for it. Yeah. No guns at protests, really.
It really freaked me out seeing people carrying guns around at the RNC because there's just there's so many different factions, especially at a thing like the RNC. Like most of them are like right-wing crazy people, and seeing them carrying guns around was, I will say it has been used to varying effect, but in the past by various groups. But I mean, the classic example is the Black Panthers, who armed themselves and followed the cops around and watched them to make sure that they weren't killing people in their neighborhoods.
The Panthers are good examples in this because they took gun safety more. If you ever see Panthers holding guns, they're either pointing the muzzle straight down or straight up. Like they took the imagery of like, this is a defensive action very seriously. I think that is the model if you want to pursue this model. And I'm definitely not endorsing affirmatively that I endorse that model. But yeah, the Panthers they definitely took that seriously.